Why start up this documentary project?
It was actually envisioned about 10 years ago by several other people who were able to have the foresight for the need of such a project. Labrador Huskies are at a critically low level with regards to the numbers that are remaining. They've also played an integral role to the history and culture of the people of Labrador for centuries. And considering it to be a builder of Labrador throughout the hundreds of years it's been here, it's about time that the recognition was given to the breed.
When you say recognition, what is it that you're working towards here?
Ultimately, our goal is to have a heritage status assigned to the Labrador Husky breed, which would have it recognized within our province as a heritage animal, and the value that it has to the people of Labrador ever since their arrival here in the 1300s. The Labrador Huskies have been invaluable in means of transportation, communication, and allowed the people here to not only survive but to thrive and preserve the culture.
When you say heritage status, what does that mean exactly for the Labrador Husky?
Most people from our province will be familiar with the Newfoundland pony and its heritage designation. It's basically it's a recognition for the contributions that the animal has made to our history, and as Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, our history, our culture is very, very important to us. It helps us to stand alone and to stand separate from the rest of Canada. While the Newfoundland pony was invaluable to the island of Newfoundland, the Labrador Husky made the same contributions to the people of Labrador. And it's a way to highlight to the public these values and these contributions and giving them a status to protect them and to help preserve the numbers.
So it's about recognizing the cultural significance on a national scale.
Absolutely. Newfoundland and Labrador have a very unique personality amongst all of the provinces and territories of our country, and the personalities, a big part of our personalities as Newfoundlanders and Labradorians is the value that we put on our culture, and we work very hard to preserve it. The Labrador Husky is a major part of that for the people of Labrador, and it's an exceptionally valuable resource, one of the earliest domestic animals used in labor for the people here.
I guess we should clarify, when we're talking about Labrador Husky here, what does that mean? What sets it apart from other Huskies?
The Labrador Husky has its roots originally descended from what was called the Inuit dog, but due to geographic isolation here in Labrador, it led to inbreeding and breeding with local wolf populations, which is not to say that there is wolf DNA in Labrador Huskies, but it has been geographically isolated and adapted to the unique topography here in Labrador, and these dogs have developed the traits to thrive here and to adapt to the work and lifestyle that the people needed.
So are there genetic differences between a Labrador Husky and other Huskies at this point?
The simplest way, I guess, to give an overview of the Labrador Husky is they tend to be stockier than what most people recognize as the Siberian Husky. They're used to running, as opposed to running on nice soft powder snow. Labrador Huskies work in exceptionally rugged terrains over rock and ice, brutally cold temperatures. Though not as fast or as sleek as a Siberian, they are not quite as large as, say, an Alaskan Malamute. Thick in the body, able to work long, long hours, traditionally on less food than what most other sled dogs do. They come in a variety of colors, so to give an accurate description of a Labrador Husky is very difficult.
They seem to really embody the Labrador spirit, though, from that description that you just told me.
Absolutely, and that goes right back to, adapting beautifully to the land here, and, they work so hard, they've contributed in such valuable ways that the lifestyle of the people of Labrador would simply not have been possible without the presence of these dogs.
You mentioned earlier that there are concerns or fears that the Labrador Husky may become extinct, that their numbers are dwindling. Can you talk a little bit about that?
A major portion of our project is to catalog the remaining Labrador Huskies and eventually work towards preserving the breed and getting the numbers back to a stable level. Right now, thankfully we've got a little bit of time to rebuild the breed. There are several people throughout Labrador that are very excited to work with the project and provide their information on the dogs they currently own, and to provide historical stories and lore about the dogs. This will help to identify the Labrador Husky from the many other breeds that have been arriving over the last several years. Traditionally, there's been no need to identify a Labrador Husky as a Labrador Husky, as they were the only breed that was here in Labrador, so it was simply a Husky. With the arrival of the different breeds now, it's getting very difficult to preserve the Labrador Husky in its traditionally unique role.
Are there plans for a breeding program on top of this?
Potentially down the road. Right now our priority is to identify and catalog the remaining individual animals, see if we can trace their family lines, and with the priority on the heritage status. Once these goals are accomplished, we will look to further the program and see where we can go from there.
And you actually own some Labrador Huskies, is that right? Can you tell me about your experience with them?
I have 4 Labrador Husky crosses. They are not pure Labrador Huskies, but several years ago I began correspondence with Scott Hudson, who does have several pure Labrador Huskies, and I just became immediately enamored with the breed. I've always been raised with Huskies ever since I was a child, and when I adopted my first Husky from Labrador, I came to learn that she was indeed a Labrador Husky. I can't verify that she was pure, but she was my introduction to the breed. Scott Hudson provided me with a lot of information and was very patient answering my questions, helping me to learn more about the breed. I currently have a sled team consisting of 6 dogs, of which 4 are Labrador Husky crosses, and they are no different than my children. They are so important to me. I spend every morning and every evening with them. It's a breed that requires a little bit more work.
How come?
I guess it comes back to their ability to adapt to the land of Labrador, to thrive in Labrador, especially in the wilderness here. You've got to have a little bit of a stubborn streak to be able to work through and push through, and that shows in the dogs. Very hard workers, and with my own dogs, I can't allow them to see a harness if I'm not going to run them, because if they see a harness, we have to run.